Jermaine obviously just getting back off of the score back, will have his hands full, and he's going to need a lot of help from his teammates.
The Hawks have been struggling, but as they get their players back, all that figured out, this is what they did last week, putting big numbers on the board, shooting 57% in those two games, and this is an example of why this team is supposed to be one of the most improved teams in the NBA heading into this season, despite this 25 wins last year. The big trade over the offseason that brought Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Then last year, the trading of Dikembe Mutombo at the trade deadline. And that brought Tony Kukoc, Haji Muhammad to the Hawks, along with Leo Rattler. They'll have to roll it out. So Rattler, who got 16 weeks after hip surgery last Saturday. Those are the officials tonight's game. Pacers with the ball to start it off, and right inside to Jermaine O'Neal. Yeah, this is number 15, Emmanuel Davis, bringing it out for the Hawks. The Hawks, those two games, you saw the points they've put on the board, but outside of those, they have only averaged 85 points per ball game, but with different players, 5 different players have already been on the injured list for the Hawks. And they have most of them back now, with the exception of Theo Ratliff, also Alan Henderson, still on the injured list with an inflamed knee. Miller takes it against Davis.
Good read by Reggie, because the offense had bogged down. The only option the Pacers had was to let Reggie go one-on-one on the baseline there.
And there is Abdul-Rahim inside. Pacers remember him very well from his Vancouver days last year when he put on one of the great individual shows, scoring 22 straight points to take the Pacers into overtime. He scored all 20 Vancouver points in the fourth quarter. Jermaine O'Neal steps out and puts Indiana in front 4-2. For the Pacers, their 13th game of the season already. And Quinn, when you think of it, on top of the division, Milwaukee, with a record of 6-1, have only played 7 to this point. Foster is open. He won't pass it up.
That's a shot he may get a lot. He's got to start knocking it down. Did it in the preseason. Hasn't shot it quite well during the year so far.
Emmanuel Davis comes over from Seattle. Hawks picking up a couple of free agents at the point guard spot, along with Jacques Vaughn from Utah. And of course, the Hawks passing at number 27 in the first round, trading it to the Pacers, and passing up on Jamal Tinsley. So Tinsley had this day circled on his calendar. And Reggie Miller gets hung up in the air, so the ball goes over to the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks have won 3 of their 4 games at home, lost all 6 on the road. Isaiah Thomas, 4-2 on their home floor, having won 4 in a row before losses last week to Minnesota in the double overtime and to the Nets in a game that went down to the final minutes. Abdul-Rahim.
They're really letting him get some shots up. That's too far.
Well, a good long stretch for O'Neal. Says he wanted to start stretching his back a little more.
That's a good way for Jamal to get Jermaine hurt throwing the ball that high up. There was just no chance he could get to it.
Tinsley coming off 2 sensational ball games. The double overtime against Minnesota and then against Detroit, 28 points. Glover, because of the Hawk injuries, the door has swung open for this Georgia great, the high school player. And he has been scoring now as a starter. Rose just wiggles in to get the shot.
He can get that all day long, especially when he comes off the right side facing the basket, so he can get his left hand turned in.
So far, Jason Terry has not touched the ball. He went for 31 the last time here at Conseco Fieldhouse. And there is that hard drive. And Glover, back-to-back baskets. He had 24 the other night in the start against the Boston Celtics. Coming out of Georgia Tech, where he played just 1 season. Rose rises. And there is Abdul-Rahim going high. He's a 2010 player. His career all the way goes Davis and the foul.
Al, from Isaiah Thomas, the thing, and that's why he's about to take a 20-second timeout. I knew he was going to say something, because the thing you can't allow is guys to continually get to the basket uncontested. There you see Davis get it off the glass, and Isaiah Thomas is taking a 20-second timeout to have a conversation along that line.
Well, Isaiah Thomas saw this happening the last 4 games, but there was a reason for that. Jermaine O'Neal was not in the lineup for 3 of those 4 and really limited in the game he played. But those are the kinds of numbers they have given up in the paint in the last 4 games. And when you consider that you've lost those 4 games in close proximity to your opponent and just losing out, you see the scores. New Jersey, it was a 4-point game in the 4th quarter. Boston was tied in the 4th. Minnesota, of course, went to the double overtime. And Detroit, the Pacers on the road, hung around all game long, and still anybody's ball game in the 4th quarter. And and you lose 62 points in those 4 games in the paint.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's of concern to Isaiah Thomas. I know he's made a point of talking to the team about the fact they have to help one another. And in the paint, with or without Jermaine, you can't afford to let anybody get the ball to the paint that easily.
Tinsley watched by Terry. Dion Glover trying to stop Rose, the fadeaway. And right now, Atlanta getting to the boards, not allowing Pacers any second shot opportunities.
Getting it up quick, too.
Sharif. It is Glover.
Jalen taking the challenge on a little bit with Glover.
Davis with a Tinsley flying by. 2 on the shot clock.
Good defense. That's really what that was. That timeout that Isaiah Thomas took prevailed there, because I thought Jalen did a much better job just staying in front of Glover. And the Pacers ended up getting a tough shot, and the ball got knocked out of bounds and comes to them.
In the 4 losses last week, the Pacers gave up 104 points per ball game, a Matador-type defense. But they trail here by 4 in the early going to the Hawks, who are winless on the road. Here is Terry with a demonstration of his speed, and it's off of Foster and out of bounds. Indiana home for the holidays, but the schedule doesn't lighten up. 3 games in 4 nights, with Michael Jordan and Washington coming in Thursday. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and the Spurs on Friday night. Terry, his first field goal. He had 22 against Boston on Saturday. He's coming off a hamstring pull that cost him a couple of games. Tinsley over Terry. And there is O'Neal bruising on the boards and draws the foul as Dion Glover helping out inside, and Pacers getting their first offensive rebound of the game.
And Jermaine O'Neal, that's why you need to get him in the game, so you can get some easy opportunities on the right side. He'll get it. He'll go to the other side of the basket, take it up. You see the swat down, if you will, by Muhammad, called for the foul.
Jermaine O'Neal has had 5 days off. He's played 1 game over the course of the last 8 days, and says he feels much better. No structural damage, just some tissue, muscle bruising in the back, and says he just has to do a little more stretching. You see the kind of numbers that he has established already this season in his second as a Pacer. Last year was a great year, and he averaged 13 points a game, and now seems to be doing it with such ease up into the 17-18 range, and has been playing all season with a bad back.
Yeah, and he's got a lot more confidence, based upon, I'm sure, the success he had last year.
Abdul Rahim, a man of many moves. Here's Muhammad on the boards, and O'Neal starts it out. Rose down court to Miller, who slices by and sets up Foster.
Got the ball up court quickly, which is what the Pacers need to do. They can't muscle team. They got to get up quickly.
It's a 2-point Hawk lead. And bombing the ball against Dion Glover, and Indiana gets it back. There's O'Neal, who crosses it down.
Heads up play by Reggie Miller, who got the ball quickly, and Jermaine O'Neal got in front of everyone.
So Reggie on the assist rampage, back-to-back, and 2 beauties by Uncle Reg, and he ties the ball game at 12.
I'm sure he'll appreciate Uncle Reg, but that's what they call him.
Actually, I think he started it. He liked the name. Rose, he liked the numbers. 4 Hawks were back. Tinsley looking at Rose, who really wants the ball. Back it goes. Jamal with a scoop.
Nice play by Jalen. Quick tap back because Terry got back inside on Jalen, and you got Tinsley to the basket.
Well, it's Rose and Miller now acting as the point guards. 8-0 run for the Pacers. They have the lead. Muhammad is stopped by Foster. Rose now hawking Terry. And there is Abdur Rahim for the tip. Sharif all over the place. And no question, he is the greatest offensive threat the Hawks have had since the glory days of Dominique Wilkins. And he is an Atlanta native and has really gotten some people in Atlanta fired up and excited about this season with the Hawks. Tony Kukoc now coming off the bench for Atlanta. Abdur Rahim. Terry flashes by. And there is Sharif. And he can start going in a hurry.
Yeah, he can really fire the ball at the basket. He's very comfortable on the block, out front, and it's a tough handle. We talked about the matchup.
A very fast-paced first quarter. Foster pulls it off the fingertips as he bangs the boards. Jeff Foster is at double figures in rebounds in each of his last 5 games, and he is now making his way towards the top 10 in the NBA in rebounds at number 11. So we are all tied at 6 quarter. We are even, Stephen, the Pacers and the Hawks. And a chance to remind you right here on Fox Sports Net, weeknights at 12 a.m. It's The Last Word with Jim Rome, and Jim tells it like it is on the Nightline of sports talk shows. The Last Word with Jim Rome, weeknights at midnight Eastern, right here on Fox Sports Net. Reggie Miller doing it all here in the early going as he tries to get his team past this 4-game slide, the fadeaway to open up the scoring, and then looking for his teammates, and a beautiful dish to Jeff Foster, who completes it and gets Reggie one of his 2 assists early in the game. Hawks with the basketball. They're on the road tomorrow as they move on to Boston. Terry, the heave, way off the mark, but Atlanta keeps it going. Tinsley on top on the double team, and foul is called. It's on Jermaine O'Neal, so Jermaine gets his first of the night.
Well, the shot goes off, and you can see Manuel Davis gets it and just drops it over to Abdur Rahim, and then reaching in was Jermaine O'Neal. And one of the things that happened is the ball got to Abdur Rahim so quickly, Jermaine couldn't react in time to get himself positioned correctly.
Abdur Rahim, who came out of California, 3rd pick in the draft after his freshman season, and was one of the unknown players in the NBA over the last 5 years with the Vancouver Grizzlies. He averaged 21 a game over those 5.
Oh, please! Young fella gets in the cracks and the crevice.
The dazzling move by Tinsley, and we're tied at 18.
You know, one of the reasons that, as you were talking about Abdur Rahim, I mean, I think people forget he was an Olympian, so he's a very skilled player.
Glover from deep, and he hits. Dion Glover went 4 or 5 from downtown against the Celtics Saturday. Before that, he had hit only 1 3-pointer in the first 9 games for the Hawks. Miller baseline, sets up Rose in the corner. There's O'Neal grasping it away from several Hawks. Foster bangs the boards.
Offensive rebounds have been pretty much what saved the Pacers. They can't knock down easy shots, but at least keeping it live.
4th rebound for Foster already, and 2 off the offensive boards. Muhammad from deep, and he hits. Nazim Muhammad, a terrific pickup from Philadelphia, came in the Mutombo trade, and the Hawks certainly getting a little more than they had anticipated when Muhammad came south to Atlanta. Rose, a man of many moves.
Got himself inside and missed it.
Thought he had it. 3-point lead for the Hawks. Jason Terry hounded by Tinsley, who almost was his backcourt mate in Atlanta. Nice pass, and there is Muhammad, who knows how to use that 6'10", 250-pound body. Muhammad, who averaged 9 minutes, 3 points, and 2 rebounds in Philadelphia, unable to get off the bench there with Theo Radcliffe. And finding time in Atlanta and making the most of it. There's a foul called against Emmanuel Davis. Timeout taken by that went off. $8. Go up, off the guy, $8.
And I'm sure he'll
I don't know.
Then
he'll get online and get another one for a new one. Al Harrington, Jonathan Bender are in for Indiana. Miller and O'Neill take a seat. 5 on the shot clock. Foster faces and fires.
Well, he saw that the shot clock was going down, and Jeff made the right decision. But this is one of those things coming off the bench that guys have to understand. Foster ended up taking a tough shot, but you've got to look and see what's on the shot clock coming in.
And that did not hit the rim, so it's a violation on Kruger, who last year, in his first season out of college in the pros, with all the injuries for Atlanta, and then the trade at mid-season, just 25 victories. That an all-time low in the franchise history since being in Atlanta, going back to 1968.
Great pass.
Here's Foster looking for the jam. Instead, he gets jammed out of bounds.
Sorry, Al. I mean, it was such a quick play. I mean, because Jeff Foster, for a guy 6'10", can just really jet up the court. They get it out to Jamal Tinsley. You saw quickly Jeff Foster come. You see the pass there in time, and you see he gets pushed in the back. And that's why he missed the dunk. Fortunately, he missed the standard as well.
Jeff Foster was a late bloomer. Matter of fact, in high school, he was a 5'8", so he was a guard early on, and he certainly knows how to run. And you watch what he does inside. The last 5 games, he's been averaging 13 rebounds per and 5 per night on the offensive board. And now he goes to the foul line, where he is also improved. And we get our first look at number 2 in the backcourt for the Pacers, the rookie Jamison Brewer, second-round choice out of Auburn, from Atlanta, and his first game as a pro against the Atlanta Hawks. And he can move the loose ball, and the Hawks pick it up and score.
Jamison Brewer, you got a guy that can push the ball up the court, is solid defensively, can really harass you.
And you know his heart is pounding right now. His good size, it's a 6'4", the 41st pick in the draft, and can buzz from one end of the floor to the other. Terrific defensive player. And now Isaiah Thomas giving him his first shot here in the first quarter.
I expect the one thing you have to watch for when you get that first shot, hyperventilation, because you're so excited about the opportunity.
Donnie Wall says he's the most athletic point guard he has ever had here in Indiana. Flicks it across to Bender. Almost had an assist on his first pass. Here is Terry flying by. And the Hawks have opened up an 8-point lead. This has become the custom for the Pacers at home. 2 weeks ago, they fell behind to 3 different teams, Portland, New York, and Sacramento, by double figures in the first half, and came back in all of them to win. This you would call a broken play, but with Abdul Rahim on the floor, he makes the Pacers pay.
What you have out here is a different kind of combination. Jamal Tinsley goes out. Jamison Brewer's a little nervous. Jonathan Bender hasn't quite got the feel for things here. So it's a real tough unit in terms of having participated with each other and knowing what needs to go on.
Saved by Foster.
But he's got to shoot it.
3 on the shot clock. Harrington beats the clock. So this young group, they've been working on that play for a while now. And the Indiana Pacers at least put something on the board to close out this first turnovers. Many changes made as we start the second quarter. That's Cal Bodler. Isaiah Thomas now has Jamal Tinsley and Reggie Miller back on with Harrington, O'Neill, and Bender. Jonathan Bender aggressively to the hoop, stays with it, and it's knocked out of bounds. It'll be Pacer ball. Lon Kruger now has Jason Terry in the backcourt with Jacques Vaughn, who signed from Utah, Cal Bodler, Tony Kukoc, and there is Hanno Medela out of Finland via Utah. He played for Rick Majerus. O'Neill with Bodler watching him. Before Harrington scored that last hoop, the Hawks with a 10-1 run to open up the big lead here in Indianapolis. Here's the quickness of Vaughn beating Reggie Miller to the ball. Scoops it to Terry over Tinsley. Miller scraps for it. Kukoc certainly a threat from downtown. The dish, Bobber also for 3. He actually could have been standing in the 3rd row and still been a little long on that shot. Tinsley takes it all the way.
Shows his quickness, gets to the rack and gets it up.
Terry showing his quickness, and he gets it to the rack and gets it up.
Yeah, but you know, it's one thing. I think if the Pacers get their shot, they've got to do a better job of getting back. But you can't allow teams to score that easily. You talked about the point totals of the respective games in the last 4 or 5 games. You just got to find a way to get back.
There's a technical on Atlanta for the 3-second defensive violation on Bowdler. His 3rd season out of Old Dominion. Here's Tinsley on the run, takes a look both ways, and then decides to take it himself.
And that's the shot he's comfortable with, which a lot of point guards or guards in general don't have. It's that in-between shot. He shoots a little floater, very much like Mark Jackson used to do.
His game looking so much like the young Mark Jackson. And in the absence of Travis Best, Isaiah Thomas leaving Tinsley on the floor in Detroit, and you could see working on the offense, developing that part of the game on his way to a pro high of 28 points Saturday night. Pacers down to 6 seconds to shoot. Tinsley fires.
It's a foul on Jermaine.
And that is his 2nd. Falling gingerly there, trying to protect his back. Indiana comes back from Detroit, a heavy week last week, 4 games in 5 nights for the 2nd week in a row. 2 weeks ago, they won all 4. Last week, they lost all 4, and playing 3 of those without O'Neal. Kukoc, the pass off. Terry may be quick, but not quick enough, and Lon Kruger does not like to see those unforced errors, even from a veteran like Kukoc,
who has been struggling for Atlanta, so we don't want to see him get on track here tonight.
Yeah, he has had several injuries, and Bender throws it right into the hands of Jacques Vaughn, trying to sprint through traffic. Vaughn, not known for his perimeter touch, looking to make something happen. We have a whistle. It's going against Atlanta.
Hannah Medler just throwing people out of the way in there.
At 6'10" and 240, the good size, but actually plays like a small forward. But on this occasion, with Reggie inside, he looked like a power forward.
Yeah, he had no regard for anyone there.
Al Harrington, who had a sensational week, but he was hurt. You see the left leg is wrapped up, hit by Gary Trent, and in the same game kicked by Reggie Miller, and he's still hurting a bit, and was not the old Al in the Saturday game against Detroit, really feeling the effects. 4 on the shot clock. Harrington, fade away, and Indiana now they're not getting good shots. Shot clock down. Bowdler walks right in.
It is really a mismatch in terms of who has whom. Jonathan Bender having a very difficult time out there running, getting himself involved in the offense, and just generally needs to regroup.
Tinsley takes it in and banks it in.
You can see how Jamal Tinsley is. He competes. If he thinks that everything's going to break down, he tries to get an easy basket, able to overpower the small guard.
Quick drive by Terry and the foul.
I mean, for Atlanta, a great play, because Terry goes to the basket. When watch him at the last minute look out toward away from the basket, freezes Jermaine O'Neal, puts it in, another easy basket.
They call the foul on Miller. Now going to Austin Crozier, looking for some spark as Terry hits the foul shots. They did not credit the basket. They said the foul was before that drive, so the 2 foul shots by Terry. And it's a 10-point lead for the Hawks, who are striving for their first win on the road this year. Backdoor, Crozier to Tinsley, and the foul.
Good pass by Austin Crozier in the offense. I mean, Austin trying to make contributions other than scoring, gets an opportunity on the left wing, and he rockets that pass from the left side through to Tinsley, who gets fouled underneath.
All right, let's go to Scott Hoke, who was around the Pacer huddle during that last timeout. Scott?
And Al, in that timeout, Isaiah Thomas ran down a long list of things he's seeing, and he looked around and he said, guys, we're doing things that we never do in practice, or we're not doing the things tonight that we have been doing in practice. He looked at Jamal Tinsley and he said, have we run a play yet? And Jamal just shook his head no, and Isaiah emphasized again that the Pacers have to do the things in this game that they've been doing in practice. Al?
Well, they're working on a 4-game losing streak, trying to snap it. O'Neal can't hold on to that. And they're playing the Hawks, who are vastly improved from earlier in the season, having blasted Utah by 32. Scored 111 points against Boston their last game, with their troops now coming off the injured list one after another and showing the expectations of what was supposed to be one of the new and improved teams in the NBA this year. A couple of blockbuster trades, and Atlanta looks to be back in the playoff picture. Atlanta will have the ball. They lead it by 13, and there's a hush here in Conseco Fieldhouse of people in disbelief at this point.
I agree, Al. It's like I don't know what I'm seeing here, but what I'm seeing, Lon Kruger may feel good about, but the Pacers at this point have no reason to feel good on either side.
You just wonder if the Pacers are still feeling the effects of a couple of hectic weeks. As we mentioned before, this is their 13th game more than any team in the NBA. And you take a look even in the division, the Central Division led by Milwaukee, the record of 6-1. They've only played 7 games to this point. Here's a foul against Harrington, and the Pacers now have to try to stay together and just try to find that spark, which has undoubtedly been turned off and doused here in this first half.
We can take a look at this charge. This is a tough call. Because Al is going by, and already Jacques Vaughn was going down, but they make the offensive foul call against Harrington.
Vaughn. And there is Medela to keep it alive. Kukoc from downtown.
And he has been struggling. That's not a good sign for the Pacers. Medela makes a very good play by tapping it back, but Tony hadn't made shots. Pacers down 16.
Remember, the Hawks, a team that hasn't won on the road going back to last February. 20 straight defeats. That's the foul on Jacques Vaughn.
15 fouls on the Hawks period. All Tinsley have alive for your Pacers.
And Tinsley, who is in double figures, the only Pacer to hit that so far. Point guard who's now looking to score more. Is not getting any help. Number 15, Emmanuel Davis, is in. Jacques Vaughn leaves. And Tinsley calmly hits a couple from the line. He's shooting 81% from the foul line. Took 12 foul shots against Detroit. Was 6-6 against Minnesota the night before. And he's hit all 4 tonight.
They could really help his team is on this end of the floor, because that's where the Pacers have come up short defensively. He's got a tough matchup with Jason Terry.
Right away, and he's got him there. But they call the foul. Mike Mathis says he was on the arm. And Tinsley had 5 blocks against Minnesota, looking for his first tonight.
Take a look and get a chance to see did Tinsley go up and get. Boy, he got ball on that. I mean, it may have looked like he got hand, but he got ball on that one.
Terry last year averaged 20 points a game. And he is a bolt of lightning on the floor. You kind of get an idea of just taking a look at some of his highlights in the first half. Again, he burned the Pacers for 31 the last time he was here, and he could score in bunches. So you take a look at what they're building here in Atlanta with Terry and Abdul Rahila from the outside. They have Kukoc coming off the bench, and they have Muhammad and Ratliff now in the middle. That's when Ratliff returns. Loose ball, Miller has it, fires it ahead to Tinsley. He goes all the way.
You can see the confidence every day. He takes the ball to the basket one-handed and just stayed under control. Very nice layup by Tinsley.
Indiana still down by 14 with 5.5 to go in the first half. Kukoc, another 3.
Jalen.
trying to box out Fowler, but fouled him instead, and Rose has his first personal foul.
It was a tough call, but it was definitely on Jalen because he couldn't get in position to get the rebound. I think he pushed the look.
Team in the Western Conference with the best record, and Lon Kruger, who is standing. He's excited about this, Quinn.
Well, he sees his team has got a good opportunity, and they're playing well.
This Atlanta Hawk Club 3 years ago, Pacers had won the first 3 games at the new Conseco Fieldhouse. They would win the next one. The first team to beat Indiana here. Pacers would actually lose the next game to Detroit, then would go on in their 25-game win streak at home. This is a call against Kukoc, and he gets his first personal foul. Indiana with a lineup of Miller, Tinsley, O'Neal, Rose, and Crozier. As Miller tries to beat the Hawks down, but they're already there. Indiana and Atlanta split 4 games last season, the home team winning every game. Tinsley fires cross-court to Crozier. Crozier is open. He flicks the wrist. And a battle in the middle. And it's Sharif Abdur-Rahim, who had a dozen points in the first quarter. Jason Terry has 10 points here in the second. And there is Muhammad. He's been very quiet so far, but he gives the Hawks a 16-point spread. Rose O'Neal walks in, and he is looked like a pinball going down the machine there. He's bumped by several Hawks. They'll give the foul to number 2, Nazir Muhammad, his first.
Nice pass to get the ball to him by Jalen Rose. You can see Jermaine steps through there. Might have got away with a little tippy toe through the 2, but at any rate, they make the foul call on Muhammad.
O'Neal, who watched the ball games from the bench, road game in Detroit, was back, watched it on the tube, and so many different things you can see when you're not playing. So he's back on the floor. Travis Bess is out for at least 4 more games with a severe hamstring pull. There is Norm Richardson, the rookie, who's on the IL from the start of the season. Bess said it bothers him so much he doesn't know if it's possible to come out back after the required 5 games, which would take him to the 27th of November, and the second game on the upcoming Western Swing in Portland.
And the other thing with Travis, he's so tightly muscled, you've got to be concerned about whether he comes back too soon, because he's subject to pull it again.
Davis and the foul. And right now, a Hawk team is just running wild against the Pacers.
Going to the basket, to his left. Jamal needs to keep him in front of him. Emmanuel Davis with good size. You can see the foul on the right arm. The hack after the basket.
And this is a game in particular, the way it's shaping up, and which Travis Bess would be a factor and certainly needed right now for Indiana. They have settled into their largest deficit of the night. 17 points separate the teams. Rose with the long arms of Kukoc picked up there on the double team. Tinsley, the scoop. Stay here, says Bob Delaney. Foul against Atlanta. And it's number 2 on Nazir Muhammad.
I believe that's his 3rd personal foul, Al, actually. Because he'd gotten the foul.
Number 3.
He'd gotten one a little earlier, that I recall. And you'll see going to the basket is Tinsley. And you can see he takes Jermaine, and pushes him in the back, so Muhammad has to sit down.
This is a kind of ball game, Quinn, in which the Pacers in the last 4 minutes would just try to carve as much as they can, get in the locker room, regroup, and then play another game in the second half.
That's exactly what you have to do. And I think the place you got to be most productive is on the defensive end, because the Pacers are very capable of scoring points. I think we've all seen that this year.
The Hawks, who average 91 points a game, have 53 already, and we still have 3.5 minutes to go in the half. But then again, there's a different Hawk team than the league saw in the first 7 games. They have scored 111 and 112 in victories over Boston and Utah. Now that just about everybody is back, with the exception of Theo Radliff. But Radliff, Henderson, and Chris Crawford are on the injured list. Jason Terry, Tony Kukoc have each missed 2 games. Abdur-Rahim has missed a game. 5 players have already been on the injured list. But most of them are back now, so you're seeing the core element outside of Rattler.
And you can see Tinsley is going to work at 16 and got through a crevice that he created because there was no room initially as he was going to the basket. 6 of 10 with 2 assists here in the first half.
Tinsley has certainly taken notice draft day of the teams that passed him up. He had the great game against Orlando that passed him up. The Pacers did. It all worked out. So he is very happy. They didn't believe in me, is what he said. And it's all worked out for Tinsley. Very happy to be here in Indiana, but he could have been the point guard alongside of Jason Terry. And he gets a three-pointer. Atlanta, that was trade night. They got that 27th pick from the Grizzlies along with Sharif Abdur-Rahim. It happened quickly on draft night, and at that point just weren't ready to make the selection of Tinsley. And the Pacers were so happy to get that pick. They've been trying to get Tinsley from midway in that first round of the draft. Every time he continued to go unchosen. Crozier races back. 2 seconds to shoot.
Well, he did a good job taking his time, and Emmanuel Davis gets that rebound over Jermaine O'Neal.
Abdur-Rahim, and he bangs his way inside. And right now, Pacers starting to be hit by an avalanche. 18-point lead for the Hawks. The spin by O'Neal.
You know, Al, what I've noticed is the Pacers have a lot of guys feeling like they need to take the pressure or the shots, you know, if you will, on their own. I mean, having worked together, a good sight is to see Austin get it to go down, but you got to get through some offense and execute on the offensive end and help each other defensively.
And the Pacers they're just not running the way they had earlier in the season. Well, let me ask you something about Tinsley. Is he taking upon himself because nothing else is there, or should your point guard be distributing more and getting everybody else involved?
I think he senses that the team can't get into an offensive rhythm and has tried to take it on his shoulders. I think the real challenge is to figure out the balance as you look at the pick and roll goal, and then Austin try to help out on Abdur-Rahim, and they call him over the shoulder on Abdur-Rahim, who I thought just put the ball into the backboard.
Abdur-Rahim, along with Nazi Mohammed, who observed the month of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month, and they fast from sun up to sundown. And Saturday felt no ill effects of the night eating all day against Boston. Rahim had 29 points and 12 rebounds. Mohammed hit all 6 of his shots for 14 points. And they're looking forward for this game to end tonight and sit down at the dinner table.
As Tinsley throws that ball away, Al, a little too quick and a tough pass to handle there.
Jason Terry was 17, Abdur-Rahim with 15 points to lead the way for the Hawks. Tinsley was 16 for the Pacers. Inside the final minute of the first half, Davis, and he lets it fly. Now,
tough shot, too.
And that is not part of the usual repertoire of Emmanuel Davis. He averages 7 points a game. He has 9 in the half. Crozier had the initial shot. Reggie Miller started with a quick bucket early, and that's the only one he has in the game. Tinsley for 3. And Atlanta, not only do they have the 19-point lead, but can have the last shot, although they seem to be in a rush to get it. 13 seconds.
He can't talk to himself. That's traveling. He missed the shot. It popped out of his hand. You can't catch your own miss without it hitting someone or the rim.
So the Hawks getting a little bit too excited with things, and they give the Pacers a chance to get 2, maybe 3 back. Several opportunities to pull that ball back and work for the last shot.
I agree.
Doing it right in front of their bench, their coach. Rose rises, and that is it. So that wraps up a very dismal first half. Pacers shoot 38% from the floor. They hear it from the crowd here at Conseco Fieldhouse against a team that has 19 points. High man for Atlanta. Indiana starts with Tinsley and Miller, Foster, Rose, and O'Neal. Miller only took 3 shots in the first half. cans this one from downtown. And Paul, you're a winner. Compliments of Reggie Miller. So $200 for Paul Ewing. He wins the Bank One three-point shootout. Our first winner, no, our second winner, 2 in a row. How about that? And most importantly for the Pacers, perhaps they start to move from there. There is a block by O'Neal. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking, Pacers trailed the Knicks by 20. Knicks had difficulty scoring at 60 points in the first half. People were stunned here at the Conseco Fieldhouse, didn't know what was going on. Same reaction so far here tonight in the first half. But then Indiana storming back in the second half to turn it around and winning going away. As Tinsley, after that play, hobbling back.
Well, he's grabbed his right wrist, and he's continued to play. So we're anxious to see whether or not he can in fact stay in the game. They have not taken him out yet.
On the boards, here is Rose starting out. Here's Tinsley on the run, the hard drive. Oh, and he goes down after suffering an injury the last sequence. And he gets knocked to the canvas there by Emmanuel Davis. So let's take a look first at the initial sequence.
Well, he gets the ball on the drive, and he goes through here and gets knocked down.
Trying to catch on to Davis as he went down, and he's holding his wrist. He went 51 minutes, and it's shooting wrist, his right wrist. Friday against Minnesota, and after the game in the locker room, he was just sitting on his chair and could not move. He was bumped, he was bruised, he was hammered, then comes back the next night against Detroit and plays 42 minutes.
Well, he likes to play. I asked him if he was indeed tired, as some might expect he should be. He said that he wasn't. So, I mean, that says something about youth for sure.
Comes back to hit the next foul shot. He had hit 4 of 4 in the first half. But he is hurting, and it's a shooting hand. So we'll keep an eye on Tinsley as the Pacers are looking to make a dent. They've scored 6 straight points. And from deep in the corner, it's Emmanuel Davis, who tonight has 12 points. He averages 7 a game, coming alive tonight against Indiana. Miller guarded by Davis, playing with 3 personal fouls. Reggie steps out for the jackknife jumper. Turns out to be a pass. O'Neal is stripped. 4-on-2. The Hawks bust out. Glover glides in. And there is the offensive boards. And Nazim Muhammad.
Really just a team that hasn't quite, until talking about the Pacers, can't find a rhythm on either side of the ball. And this is one that is much technique as it is just pure effort. You got to kind of hustle your way out of this.
Jermaine O'Neal returns to the lineup. He's missed 3 of the last 4 with the bruised back. Now earlier Jamal Tinsley made the move, and this is, I believe, where he hurt his wrist.
Well, he reached in there and tried to get the ball from Abdul Rahim, and he's grabbed his wrist almost immediately.
Reggie Miller. Miller understanding that it is time to start looking to the hoop. 68-50, the Hawks by 18. They'll be in Boston tomorrow night. Pacers off tomorrow. And then Thursday, Michael Jordan. First appearance back in Indiana. And the Washington Wiz Friday night at San Antonio. Tinsley behind the back. He's got it, and he is fouled.
Well, they get to an open court, can make some positive things happen. The defense was on that. And Foster got out of his man and took some of the traffic. Reggie gets the rebound, pushes up. You'll see Foster be on the right. And the ball's behind the back. Not much Glover can do but grasp. Got air. Pacers get a bucket and a 3-point play by Tinsley.
And back-to-back 20-point nights for Tinsley. He had 28 against Detroit to establish his new pro high. His old one was 12. And then 15 back-to-back. And there is Terry hitting from downtown. And he has 22. So the Hawks have been able to answer every time the Pacers try to make a little run here in this third quarter. Nearly 4 minutes gone by. Miller with Glover now shadowing him. Tinsley, the hot man. He penetrates and dishes. Foster puts it down.
Well, that's what Tinsley can do. Now that he scored basket, it's draw and kick.
That's his 4th assist to go along with 20 points. And the Pacers creeping a little closer. 16-point ball game. Still plenty of time to go in this one. Davis pops at the foul line. Emmanuel Davis becoming a big hitter here tonight. 14 points. As he is stretching his way closer and closer to a season high. Just one shy of that. He did that on opening night. Miller for 3. And here is Terry hustling out. Glover for 3. Fast break for Indiana as Miller throws it into a crowd. Tinsley, he's the trailer, and he draws another foul.
Pacers are really starting to push it up now, and I think that's going to help them get some kind of flow.
And the good news for the Pacers, Davis, who has been crushing them now in the offensive end, gets his 4th personal foul. The nice dish by Tinsley, the preceding play, and Foster, who certainly knows how to finish. The numbers for Tinsley continue to grow night in, night out. He's breaking his own records, his Pacer rookie records. Davis goes out with the 4 fouls. He's already put in a game for Atlanta, and Jacques Vaughn replaces him. 22 minutes, 14 points for Emmanuel Davis. Came over from Seattle. Glenn Kruger picked up 2 free agent guards. Davis from Seattle, Vaughn from Utah, who in their first 4 seasons have been playing alongside of Gary Payton and John Stockton. Kruger hoping that some of that is rubbed off on his 2 new point guards. Rose, ahead it goes to Miller. Rose for 3, they need it. Just short, on line. Pacers right now have to go on a scoring and shooting tear. Got to gobble up some of this deficit as they begin the Thanksgiving week. Nothing like gobbling up the deficit.
Good
Rose
pass.
rises. And Jalen off the mark last 2 times down. 3 for a quarter.
Jeff Foster's still been a factor. I mean, he stays in and gets you extra possessions. Jalen missed the first one. He's not going to miss too many. Pacers get themselves back to within 15.
And this has been their leading scorer. Jamal Tinsley with the grimace, the wrist now being taped up, the shooting wrist that has provided 21 of the Pacer 58 points. Foster all over. Abdur-Rahim is called for traveling. Well, Abdur-Rahim, now he turns around. He can't believe it. He thought he was fouled. He has been quiet since his 12 points in the first quarter. He's added just 3. And it's basically been the backcourt of the Hawks. Terry and Davis have counted for 36 points.
That's actually a very good call. He did travel when Jeff Foster jumped on his head.
Foster getting away with a freebie. Miller for 3, and how they needed that. So Reggie Miller now looking to pump up the Pacers. He had 2 points at halftime. He's added 8 quickly here in the 3rd quarter. Indiana down by 21 earlier in this period. Now slice it to 12. This is on Jermaine O'Neal, and he has his 3rd personal foul. O'Neal coming back after the lower back bruise. Feeling better after 5 days away from the floor. He played just 1 game over the course of 8 days. As I said, he's going to add a little more stretching into the regimen.
Yeah, most people I know with bad back, that's a big component. He just picked up his 4th foul on trying to come out on the pick on Jacques Vaughn. Did a poor job getting himself out of the way. He comes out and he wants to extend that way. Doesn't get far enough. You see that little bump. Can be considered incidental, but for Jermaine O'Neal, number 7, that is his 4th foul.
And he'll get to rest the back as Al Harrington comes in. Al has not seen much playing time, just 7 minutes in the first half. 8 seconds to shoot. Mohammed slapped away by Harrington
With his foot.
He didn't even know it, but he's all over the place. Tinsley, the 360, and unfortunately for him, the ball continued on that 360 route. Terry is open for 3. He's been drilling them, and he does again, his 3rd of the night, and he has a season-high 25 points. He had been slowed because of a hamstring pull. See Travis Best. And he's just getting into form. He had 22 against Boston the last game. Harrington off the mark. And a save by Abdur Rahim. Jason Terry just some timely baskets tonight. Every time the Pacers try to make a move. And he has, the little guy has really destroyed Indiana in the last couple of seasons. Big games in Atlanta. He had 31 here the last time. That's what he wears, number 31. Dion Glover. There's Terry again. Look at the move, how swiftly he gets to the hoop.
He gets from one point to the other very swiftly. And on Jamal Tinsley, he's learning every game that guys that do different things. Terry is just very good with the ball off the dribble.
He has packed 10 of his 27 already into this third quarter, and he is alone keeping the Pacers at bay. Tinsley rattles the rim from downtown. His fourth of the season in 16 attempts. And it looks like he's going to smash his new pro high of 28. He's 4 away. He's looking for his first pro 30-point game. Terry again gets his own shot. Tinsley on the forearm.
I mean, he is such a tough cover, Al. Jamal Tinsley may be a little winded, has had to play some extended minutes. 22 in the first half, guarding Jason Terry.
And this is another area in which Travis Best would have come in handy. Certainly one of the terrific ball-on-ball defensive players. A very studious-looking Travis Best.
Another thing Travis could bring, I mean, he's not here. He puts a lot of pressure on you, on your defensive end, because of his ability to put the ball in the basket.
Terry perfect 5 of 5 from the foul line. He is 10 of 15 from the floor. He has hit 4 3-pointers, 29 points, and we're still in the third quarter. Foster.
And he missed a dunk after a nice pass from Al Harrington, kind of indicative of the night.
And the difficulty that Foster has been having here in the early going, getting towards the basket, but unable to finish. Tinsley, pinpoint pass to Miller.
Long pass on the money, off the rebound to Reggie for the basket. Tough pass to make, made easily by Tinsley.
Peyton Manning would be happy with a pass like that.
Yep.
That was a beauty. And it's only a 14-point game. Pacers still very much in range with 3 minutes to go in the third. Foster gets it ahead to Tinsley, who's gone most of the way. Can't get by Terry. Harrington on the floor.
Tinsley, as you can see, his season high of 28. He has 24. The ability to be able to get some stops.
Tinsley, 24 points to go along with 6 assists. And on the tip, it's controlled by Atlanta. Just to set it up again, the Hawks have not won on the road this year, 0-6. Their last win on the road came back last February. They've lost 20 straight road games, this franchise, although this is very much of a different team. Supposedly one of the new and improved teams in the NBA this year, and certainly a playoff contender, but they've been hit with key injuries in the first 10 or so games. Rose, who has been invisible tonight, gets that basket, and now Indiana, once down by 21, have whittled it to 12.
Good play out of the timeout. It was to get Jalen the shot, because you're right, Jalen hasn't been in the flow offensively. This hopefully will get him going.
4 of 12 from the field for Rose this evening. Abdur Rahim. There's Tinsley on him, and he gets the basket and the foul. It's called on Harrington. And Abdur Rahim looking to make this a 3-point play. 17 tonight for the Reef.
Reef gets it inside. You see Tinsley knock it loose, but Abdur Rahim stays after it. Ball fakes Al Harrington and gets it on the glass and in and goes to the line.
2 weeks ago on a Western trip, he'd been bothered by a sore knee. Scored 7 points against the Clippers. That snapped his double-figure streak at 113 games. He sat out a game in San Antonio, and that's just the 4th game that he has missed in his career. This is 6th season. He has a double-double tonight, 18 points and 10 boards. Harrington fights to the hoop.
Harrington.
Second field goal for Harrington.
And these teams separated by 13 points. Pacers have been behind the 8 ball from the start. Atlanta streaking out to the early lead. They're up by 8 at the end of the quarter. 19 at halftime. Abdul Rahim.
He is too big and too strong. I mean, I've always thought he was an underrated offensive player. He's showing it tonight.
5 years, he's averaged 21 points a game. A couple of years ago in Vancouver, he's the 3rd leading scorer in the league. There's Foster hammering the boards. Again, can't finish, but this time he is fouled. Foster plays for such a high intensity that, as you have seen, oftentimes he gets right to the hoop, and there's just too much on the ball. And
14 fouls on the Hawks.
you know he's going to catch on, and when he does, he's going to start putting some heavy numbers up there.
Comes does a good job. May have gotten away with a little bump on Nazir Muhammad, and as he went up, he got forearmed a little bit by Abdul Rahim, and he missed the shot.
Foster, a rebounding machine, coming into this game tonight, a matter of fact. He has the 2nd most offensive rebounds in the league. This is what he has done in his last 6 games, in double figures again tonight, and we still have 13 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Number 3 in the league for total rebounds. And Foster coming into his own here in his 3rd professional season. He was the 3rd leading rebounder in the nation at Southwest Texas State, when he was selected 21st in the 1st round by Golden State and then traded to Indiana. Abdul Rahim for the Pacers now with Foster and Tinsley in the starting lineup, both acquired.
Oh, good defense there.
By trades late in the 1st. And the Indiana Pacers get it turned over.
And I was talking particularly about how they played most of the play. But Jason Terry went up for the shot. And I mean, Jamal Tinsley was all over it. But Isaiah Thomas's paces, if you will, defensively was solid.
Isaiah calling a play in the last minute. He wants to make sure now, try to grind this down to 10 or thereabouts, getting into the 4th quarter.
See Reggie in the background talking to Jamal Tinsley. They're perfecting exactly what they want to get out of the play. As the shot clock gets readjusted.
Meanwhile, Isaiah Thomas brings Jeff Foster over to talk to, full 24. Reggie Miller inbounds. He has 10 of his 12 points here in the 3rd, trying to help ignite the Pacers, and it's Miller who has the ball. Working on Vaughn, and draws the foul.
Shot Vaughn.
And for the Hawks, that is their 5th, so it sends Reggie Miller to the foul line.
Reggie just tries to make the move. He'll gather it again. As soon as Reggie feels pressure, I mean, like a veteran that he is, he gets the ball going toward the basket. That was the shot, a foul that puts them in the penalty.
Miller's been to the line just once tonight, 94% from the foul line, which is his best mark ever. Last year, he won the foul shooting race at 92.8, and they're a rare miss, as all of them are for Reggie.
You assume everything Reggie puts toward the basket is going in.
13 from Miller. He's been 20 or more only 4 times this year. Glover with the razzle-dazzle and walks in, but blows it.
Pacers can go one shot.
And now it's Tinsley who kind of limps across. And Indiana could get it down to 10 going into the 4th quarter, and they'll take it.
See if Tinsley will go on his own.
The double team, the open man is Rose. He rises to 3.
They went out
it down to 9.
Went out of Tinsley early.
But the last shot, the dangerous man, Terry. Oh, my, he does it again. How many times have you seen Jason Terry with that? Indiana making some of that up at the foul line, but it is the last 3-pointer by Jason Terry after Rose hit the 3 in the closing seconds. The injuries have mounted, and now Tinsley, who has been starring for Indiana, and you just could see the body language as he hobbles back on the floor. He has played 33 of the 36 minutes to this point, and he hangs in there. 24 points for Tinsley to lead the Pacers in scoring. Jason Terry with 32. His career high is 38, and he has hit 5 threes. Pacers start the fourth quarter with Tinsley, Miller, Rose, Foster, and Harrington.
We'll see if Tinsley can continue. The entire time out, they had a heat pack on Jamal's back, and I do think that's what he was trying to stretch as he and trainer David Craig were at half court.
Yeah, that was sore after the 51 minutes against Minnesota in the double overtime. Jalen Rose, who hit that last three of the third, looking to get his touch back. Tinsley
that's a tough shot to take.
Testing the wrist out immediately.
Yeah, that's a tough one to take. If your back is hurting, you got to look to try to figure out something else to do. But he's been playing good, and he must have felt like he could knock it down.
Hanno Metala gets by Harrington. So coming in fresh, Tinsley with 24 points and 8 assists so far in the ball game. He has 4 double-doubles this year as a rookie. Foster has a double-double tonight in points and rebounds. But the Pacers are trailing by 14. Harrington goes hard to the hoop and with the left hand.
Good job. Get in the paint. I think that's what the Pacers have to do. One of the things I think when the Pacers played well, got to the foul line more consistently than has been the case, with the exception of Jamal Tinsley tonight.
Travel violation against Deion Glover? No.
That's foul. They said the foul caused the trouble.
Harrington's third personal foul. Pacers won their first 4 games at home and now in jeopardy of losing their third in a row on their home floor.
Which is one of the things the Pacers had talked about trying to control, was making sure that the home court was a difficult place to any team to win other than the Pacers.
Kukoc double team, 1 on the shot clock. And inside, there it is, Tinsley, and they say...
No, Bob, it'll get corrected.
They say it's off of Metala, and now a T has been called.
Wait a minute, he makes a...
Tinsley, well, I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Let me hit that for a moment. This official makes a bad call.
Kevin Fair.
And Jamal Tinsley was involved in the play. They called the foul on Hanno Metala, who knocked the ball out, and Tinsley vehemently complained about it, so they give Tinsley a technical.
And I also think this referee was embarrassed because he was quickly overruled by another referee. And Kukoc hits the tee. So the young referee, Kevin Fair, let's hear it. Well, the ball was knocked out of bounds, and now Tinsley still, he's looking over the shoulder of Fair to his coach, Isaiah Thomas. Barking instructions. Pacers down by 13, still in range, but it's about time they make the move, and Rose walks in but can't get it.
And what a tough break, because he had Tony Kukoc off his feet, and Jalen just couldn't get it to go down.
Kukoc, and Mike Mathis turns it the other way. This is on Muhammad, his 4th personal foul. So there is a little bit of a wedge in the door here for Indiana. They got to start making shots. 9.5 still to go in the fourth quarter. Rose, Tinsley with a stutter step, gets hung up and blocked by Metala.
Good block by Metala.
And Metala complaining about Tinsley grabbing at him. Terry, there's another 3 and a rare miss. Now it's Tinsley running with Kukoc riding him all the way, and the foul is on Tony Kukoc. Second personal foul. Kukoc has been coming off the bench. Lon Kruger actually just kind of picking spots for him. They've been physically challenged this season, several injuries. Watch Tinsley stay with it. Just
oh, that's staying with it all right. He grabbed his side.
And Metala out of Finland, not kind of used to those streets of New York tactics.
I don't think many people are.
Miller for 3.
Good swinging of the ball makes the play from Jalen to the top. Tinsley finds Miller in the left corner.
His third three of the night. That brings the crowd to life as the Pacers cut it down to 10 on the shooting of Reggie Miller. It's 6 of 10 here tonight. Crowd now standing, trying to get the Pacers to pick up their intensity on the defensive end. But instead, a foul is called on Harrington, his fourth personal.
6 at the half.
6 at the half. Unfortunately for the Pacers, the hustle board is closer than the scoreboard, but Indiana has chopped away at it. Once down by 21. A couple of weeks ago, they were down by 20 to the Knicks and battled back to win it. Trying to see if history repeats.
Going to take a much better effort. This team, the Atlanta Hawks, has a better offensive repertoire in terms of people that can make things happen.
Tinsley continues to stay in there, battling his bumps and bruises, back and wrist. He's 1 assist away from a double-double with 24 points. O'Neal turns, only his fourth field goal, and all of a sudden it's an 8-point game, and they're starting to sweat it on the Atlanta bench.
Ran a play and got a good action inside. Jalen made a tough pass to the outside hand to get that basket for O'Neal.
And the Pacers keep on climbing uphill. Here's the dangerous man. 32 tonight for Jason Terry. He has Tinsley right up on him. Manuel Davis back off the bench. The fight for it, and O'Neal Rose on the run. O'Neal goes hard, fade away, swish. It's a 6-point ball game. And Lon Kruger going to want to talk it over. Crowd responds. And Jermaine O'Neal now with 14.7 boards and has the Pacers knocking on the door with 6 points separating these two teams. Jason Terry, what, 15 of his 32 in the third quarter. Kukoc wide open, looking to spread the defense. A 3-pointer by Kukoc. He has 2 field goals tonight, both from downtown. And very quickly, Isaiah Thomas has called a 20-second timeout.
Well, the one guy I'm sure Isaiah Thomas didn't want his club to leave open was Tony Kukoc. He struggled, but he knocked down that shot to give a little momentum back, if you will, to the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta missed their last 5 field goal attempts. Well, the Pacers are home for 3 games this week, culminating Friday night when Tim Duncan and David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs are in town. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern right here on Fox Sports Net. The walking wounded. Indiana with Travis Best already on the injured list. Moments ago, Tinsley looks like in between rounds in a boxing match.
Yeah, you would be very familiar with that, but that's exactly what it looks like. But he's a tough kid, if you will. He's a tough young man. I think he'll try to tough it out and be as effective as possible.
He's played all but 2 minutes in the game. Miller, jackknife jumper, thought he had it.
Muhammad
push, and that's the 5th on Muhammad. Muhammad, a backup for several seasons in Philadelphia before coming over to Atlanta. Now with Theo Ratliff's injury, he is the starting center. He's averaging 13 points and 9 rebounds a game. Center that the Pacers showed interest in the offseason. Oh, the wheel by O'Neal, and there was Abdur Rahim coming out of nowhere, rejecting the possible 3rd straight field goal by the comebacking Jermaine O'Neal.
I think that's a huge block because there would have been more momentum going toward the Pacers. You're right. Every time it seems like they get close, Atlanta seems to have an answer.
Oh, O'Neal comes out of nowhere to return the favor. Miller walks by. Tinsley for 3. They need it. They got it.
How about that? This young man can hardly get up and down the court. There's a bad back, drills a big 3 there.
Again, it's a 6-point lead. 27 tonight for Tinsley. He's now 1 shy of the 28 he posted in Detroit on Saturday. Abdur Rahim, a force there, but Atlanta gets it back. Kukoc looking for his 3rd 3 in traffic. Harrington grips the ball. racing out with Miller. He stops. He fires. He hits. Downtown. A Miller moment brings Indiana to within 3. His 4th three-pointer of the night.
Reggie looking for it. Got a 3 on the break. Put him within 3.
Jason Terry, double team. Manuel Davis, he heaves a 3. And Tinsley goes high for the rebound. Tinsley staying with it. Tinsley all the way. Ooh, Abdur Rahim almost tipped it in for the Pacers. So it is Tinsley kind of getting caught up with the drama as he chugs his way down. Not only is injured, now he has to play defense against the pesky and speedy Jason Terry, who gets away from Tinsley. Picked up by Miller. Davis. The Hawks going cold, but they're getting the bounce of the ball.
Keep him over there.
Reminiscent of the Minnesota game, picking up the key offensive rebound. Pacers trying to get over the hump. They're within 3 after trailing by 21. There's the time remaining, dwindling away here in the 4th quarter. Kukoc gets it back. A risky behind-the-back pass in traffic, but the Hawks on that sequence got a couple of offensive rebounds. Kukoc gets the winner more than any team this season against the Pacers from three-point land. Tinsley trying to keep it together for the last 4 minutes and 14 seconds. After 51 minutes against Minnesota, came back for 42 against Detroit the next night. He says he wanted to play 48. Well, the way it's going, he's going to play 46 this evening. Rose now to take a little pressure off just for the moment. Now puts it in the hands of Tinsley. Tinsley, body's got to be tingling right now. Miller with Davis in his face. 7 on the shot clock. Here's Harrington, the hard drive. And now looking to make it even more difficult going past the basket. And it gives the Hawks the ball. Atlanta Hawks, who have not won on the road this year, 6 games away from home, 6 defeats. They're trying to stem the tide here. There is Terry, and he has lost it after the hot shooting 3 quarters. So the door open for Indiana. Miller for 3. Looking for his 6th of the night. And O'Neal cannot gather it in. 3:20 left in the 4th.
And basically on that play, Reggie was looking for, trying to get a little bit of a dagger. And, you know, and I understand, but I think at that point you're down 5. You don't need to get a quick one quite at that moment.
Nazir Muhammad, Tinsley, and that leaves Davis as the shot clock goes off. Emmanuel Davis, who has become tonight one of the unsung offensive hero for the Hawks, averages 7 points a game. He has 16 tonight. And it seems that every basket he makes has been a dagger.
Yeah, because they've been coming off of him, and he found a way to make plays.
O'Neal fading away. 3 field goals in this 4th quarter, all swished in. And it's a 5-point game. 2.5 to go. Pacers have enough gas left to muster up the rest of this comeback bid. Terry for 3, off the mark. O'Neal, though, can't hold on to the basketball. Did a Hawk touch it last? Yes.
They kind of dropped through Nazir Muhammad's leg and rubbed him as they were going down.
Miller, Tinsley, O'Neal, Harrington, and Rose for Indiana. Pacers in jeopardy of falling under 500 to 6-7 if they don't pull this one out. Hawks at 3-7 coming in. But that more a reflection of their injuries. Rose with the left hand. Swish.
Good job, Jalen, working the right side on a screen down on the baseline. Got Tony Kukoc underneath and came out shooting.
All the starters in double figures tonight, led by Tinsley's 27. Harrington asking the crowd for help. It's a 3-point game. Terry stopped by Tinsley. He tries this side. The strip by Tinsley. Harrington off and running, a 2-on-1. And Manuel Davis does the job. But a foul is called on Davis, and that is his 5th. And Harrington now, with the clock stopped at 1:37, can bring the Pacers to within 1 point of the Hawks.
Going down, good defense that time. Tinsley pops it loose, looks up ahead on his right side. Al gets the ball and moves it up. And you can see the foul there by Emmanuel Davis. Harrington to the line for 2.
Indiana 17 of 21 from the foul line. Down the stretch they come. 1:37 to go. And Harrington comes through. Ron Kruger has seen 20 of his 21 points slip away, and he wants to talk it over. Pacers with a 19-7 run over the last 8 minutes. Whipping the floor. Jason Terry, who had 32 points through 3, has not scored in the fourth. Sharif Abdur-Rahim, who had 20 through the first 3 periods, has not.
You look at Courtney Alexander, you look at Rip.
Coach keeping the Hawks in it. 1-point game. Now you think back at the end of the third quarter, Quinn, of that desperation 3 by Jason Terry at the buzzer that went in.
Yeah, and it was one of the things where the Pacers had made one of many mistakes tonight, no doubt about it. But you can see the run the Pacers have been on in the last 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's see if Terry and Abdur-Rahim get caught in the screen and roll, because I got to believe they'll go to one of those 2 guys.
It is Abdur-Rahim. Has nothing. Terry. 5 on the shot clock. Battle away by Tinsley. 2 seconds on the shot clock. The heave by Rahim, and Indiana puts the squeeze on Atlanta.
Solid defense coming out of the timeout.
Without Derek Coleman.
Basically, 24-second violation is considered a turnover.
And Indiana with the ball in their hands with a chance to take the lead for the first time since midway in the first quarter. They were up 14-12 the last time they led in this ball game.
They're trying to sync up the 24-second clock and the game clock. I don't know if he said 16 or not.
Sponsor of the NBA.
1 minute 13.
And every second at this point extremely crucial. Tinsley almost loses. Tinsley a double-double, 27 points to go along with 10 assists. Third consecutive monster number evening for the rookie. Rose rises. The Indiana Pacers have completely turned it around. Once down 21, they now lead by a point.
Now let's see what the D can do in the last minute.
Everyone standing at Conseco Fieldhouse. Terry, it's short, and run down. Tinsley lets it go out of bounds. With 46 ticks to go, Pacers want to make sure, talk it over, they will hear it resoundingly from the crowd, who've seen this Indiana Pacer team who looked lost in the first half make the 360 here in the second half.
They'll come off the right side. Jalen makes that turn from over there. Muhammad doesn't come out. Easy shot, but Jalen rolls, who knocks it down to give the Pacers this 1-point lead. They hold on to with the ball.
Now for our buy one, get one half off.
7 points for Tinsley. Miller has 19. He had only 2 at the end of the half. Jermaine O'Neal with 16, Rose 15, Foster, who we have not seen in a while, with 11, along with 11 rebounds, another double-double for Foster. So the Pacers putting their starting 5 in double figures, and Harrington has 8 off the bench. This opens a 3-game homestand with Michael Jordan's first appearance at Conseco Fieldhouse since the conference finals in 1998, Game 6. And he brings in a little different contingent around him this time, the Washington Wizards. And then Friday, it's Duncan and Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs. And then the Pacers go on a 5-game road trip out west. Sunday in Seattle, on to Portland, Denver, Utah, and the Los Angeles Clippers. And he has played, he will play 46 minutes when the rest in the first half. Pacers by 1. They have the basketball. Jacques Vaughn is in. Jason Terry is now out. The lane is open. Tinsley looking. Rose makes the fake. He rises, and he hits again. Rose back-to-back daggers against the Hawks. And the lead is now 3.
And this got a little bit out of the flow because Jamal Tinsley started going so well. And that's one of the things I think Tinsley's going to have to balance, because you got scores on the other side. Jalen always been able to knock down some shots because Reggie can get it going as well. Again, the walking wounded has to come out and defend. Tinsley leading the way, coming on the right side. You'll see him come clean. The help may come, but it comes a little delayed. Deion Glover just can't get up in time for Jalen to challenge Jalen on the shot.
Pacers have hit 10 of 20 in this fourth quarter. They have outscored Atlanta 25-10. The Hawks 4 of 18 from the field in the fourth quarter, but remember, they have hit 9 3-pointers in this ball game, and certainly have a few threats. Kukoc may be the most dangerous in this kind of situation, although he has the lowest percentage of the 5.
Miami as they
Tim doesn't come in.
Sometimes they forget about him.
I have a feeling they're not going to forget about him now. 36 seconds to go. Terry is back on, looking to go for the quick 2, but instead a quick foul.
Pacers had one to give.
That's only the third of the quarter, and now they're first in the last 2 minutes. 5th foul on Harrington. And the Hawks will inbound, lose a couple of seconds. Actually 1 second off the clock.
They go right back to the same play.
Looking for the sure 2. O'Neal is up there. Muhammad, no, and it is ripped down by O'Neal. And a timeout is taken by Indiana. Well, they get a second shot at it, Nazim Muhammad. But Jermaine O'Neal made sure it won't go any further than that as he snatched that ball and caught it.
You know, it's been a good day for Jamal Tinsley, but here he made a little bit of a tactical error. He's the one that calls the timeout after Jermaine O'Neal does a good job of challenging the shot. Nazim Muhammad gets it.
Actually pushed away.
Yeah, and it's Jamal Tinsley, for whatever reason, called timeout, because at this point, the clock is your ally, and there's no need to give Atlanta a chance to set up for all the good he's done, and let's please give him credit for that. This is just one place where he learned. Kind of looked at him as though, all right, what are we doing here? And he just said, you know, basically, young fella made a mistake. And Jamal has been playing so well and with such savvy and maturity, it's not one you think he would make, but he does. And let's see if the Pacers can run it out anyway.
And Jalen Rose had the ball in his hands, an 83% foul shooter. The one thing this will give the Pacers an opportunity is to get it in the ball in the hands of Reggie Miller, to get him to the foul line. Austin Crozier is also in. Al Harrington remains on the floor. And he is our Subway sub of the game with 8 points off the bench. Austin Crozier with 2 off the bench. Those are the only bench players that have scored. Harrington making the big move and the swoop to the hoop. Fans continue to stand here. They've been standing for the last 4 minutes. Pacers looking to complete this turnaround. The inbounds here. Rose is open. Oh, a soft pass floated, though. And Vaughn could not get there in time. Then fouls him. And now it's Jalen Rose, who has hit the 2 key field goals. Goes to the foul line for the first time tonight. Indiana Pacers, second best foul shooting team in the NBA, and Rose right there in the mix. It's now a 2-possession game with 26.5 seconds to go. Jason Terry lost all his magic here in the fourth quarter. 32 points through the first 3, but has not hit a shot here in the fourth and has not scored a point in the fourth period. 1 of 2. Mike Mathis is going to make a call
on Jermaine O'Neal because he got his arm caught on the top of Hannah Matla. And what you don't want to do under the circumstances is to get yourself in a position where you get called for a foul. You get to see right here. You see, they get locked. But I'll tell you what happened with that is Matla locked Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, and Jermaine is kind of wondering what's going on. But take a look. Matla actually grabs the arm of Jermaine O'Neal. Watch. Oh, and locks it.
What is that call?
Well, you could call anything you'd like, but they
very rarely would even see a call in those circumstances. And it actually allows Atlanta, if he had hit that shot, to be right back in it.
Right, to get some scores.
That's Metal, an 81% foul shooter. And Atlanta given the opportunity to turn it back around and put the pressure on the Pacers. Now it's a three-point game, but Atlanta has still gotten it now down to one possession. Tinsley trying to outrun Glover.
Outrun him?
Yeah, that fast. That's how fast he went. So Dion Glover also had scored 7 quick points in the first quarter. Not heard from since.
Yeah, he got on an early groove and then just kind of lost it. We look at Jamal Tinsley, who's put in about 46 minutes worth of work.
He has now tied his pro high from the Detroit game. Alan Henderson, with the inflammation of the knee, hasn't played this year, and now has a new career high. Back-to-back 28 and 29 points for Tinsley. Terry for 3, and he has just lost all his steam in the shot. Nothing left in the shooting tank of Jason Terry. And the Indiana Pacers are going to win this ball game. After trailing by 21, turn it around here in the fourth. Atlanta come up with only 11 points. The Pacers have scored 28 in a dramatic turnaround to avoid slipping under 500, avoid allowing Atlanta to win their first game on the road and snap their 20-game road losing streak. But struggling is Rose down the stretch at the line. He makes the 2 key field goals, but now is this back-to-back from the foul line. 2 foul shots would have salted it away, giving Indiana a 7-point lead. Blows another. But now Atlanta on the hustle. Kukoc for 3 could make it interesting.
Give it to Reggie. You guys want to foul somebody, foul Reggie.
And there it is. After a few extra seconds, we're off. So now it's Reggie Miller who will put the final nail in the coffin. Isaiah Thomas just right now his head is filled with the mixed emotions.
I agree with you. I think he really has to. I mean, you obviously want to get the win and want to make sure the club does what it has to do to pull that off. But to get down 21 points at home to a team struggling like Atlanta has to be a little disconcerting. But I'd have to say this. Atlanta played well in the stretch where they got to 21 points. That's what I thought was most apparent, even though I thought the Pacers probably could have done a better job of pressuring them and keeping them out of the paint.
Reggie finishes it off. He has 22 points. And now Terry for the final 3. Too little, too late as he gets his 6th three-pointer of the night. Ends with 35, but doesn't end with the W. The Indiana Pacers turn this one around. They trailed 88-76 coming into the fourth. They outscored Atlanta 30-14 with that three-pointer by Jason Terry. And Jamal Tinsley continues to impress with sensational numbers. A new pro high of 29 points to go along with 11 rebounds as he hobbles off the floor, escorted by assistant coach Brendan Malone. Tinsley will have the day off before facing Jordan and the Wizards on Thursday night. Indiana Pacers, down the stretch they came, whipping and driving.